Mr. Chair, you're now live.
All right, thanks. Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the regularly scheduled virtual meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board on Wednesday, the 7th of April, 2021 at 7:06 in the evening. All board members are present, which includes Vice Chairman Lawrence Harris, Dick Peterson, Kia Baskerville, and Elizabeth Conger, and I'm Jimmy Praley. Also present tonight, we have the City Attorney Michael Lyles and Deputy City Clerk Cynthia Gaines. First order of business is the board had the opportunity to review the minutes of our last meeting, which was on March 2021, and if so, are there any additions, modifications, or corrections?
Yes and no.
Yes. All right. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I move.
Second.
All right, the minutes stand as approved. Before we begin our regular business, I'll state for the record that since this is a virtual hearing, anyone who wishes to submit public testimony may do so only by way of written testimony, which will be submitted as part of the official record. Anybody who wishes to submit written testimony may do so by going to www.annapolis.gov/ABC. And with that, I will declare the public hearing open. The first item on tonight's agenda is an application for a transfer by Beverage Annapolis LLC, trading as Safe Harbor Severn Yacht Club. Before us is an application for a transfer of a Class C beer, wine, and liquor license on sale 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a week by Megan Roush, John Swick, and Jeffrey Rose for the premises known as Beverage Annapolis LLC, trading as Safe Harbor Severn Yacht Club, which is located at 519 Chester Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. And Mr. Dales is here on behalf of the applicants. Good evening, Mr. Dales. Good to see you. If you could place your name and address on the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Phil Dales of the law firm of Liftwolf Simmons, located at 181 Harry S. Truman Parkway in Annapolis, 21401.
Okay, and I see we have quite a few people with us tonight with respect to this transfer request. Everybody who's planning on testifying, if you could raise your right hand so I can administer the oath here. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct?
I do.
Okay, all right. They're nodding in the affirmative for those who are on mute. And everybody who is planning on testifying, we need to get your name and address for the record. So I'm gonna kind of just start in order here from who I can see on my panel. Miss Bell, if you could give your name and address for the record first.
Yes, Desiree Bell, 5 Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Okay, thank you. And then Miss Roush, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but if we could get your name and address next.
My name is Megan Roush, and my address is 269 Tolstoy Lane in Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
Thank you. And then Mr. Swick.
Hi, my name is John Swick, and my address is 7812 Woodstone Lane, Dallas, Texas, 75248.
Okay, and then lastly, Mr. Ray, please.
My address is 3417 Mockingbird Lane, Dallas, Texas, 75205.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will also say today we received a letter from a Mr. Jeffrey Rose, who was unable to attend today, and he was excused administratively. So I just wanted to put that on the record for everybody. Mr. Dales, the floor is yours. Please go ahead and begin your presentation on this transfer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this license has been in use at 519 Chester Avenue for decades. However, recently the property and business entities that operated the club at this property were sold to Safe Harbor Marinas. And Safe Harbor is not proposing any change to the operation of the marina, which relates to the use of the alcoholic beverages license. And this application simply seeks to transfer the license to the entities now controlled by the new owner. I'll introduce our case tonight by proffering that the application materials that we submitted and that I know you all have reviewed address all the necessary criteria in the state alcoholic beverages article and the city code, and that no challenges to our knowledge have been raised by either the reviewing staff or any members of the public. Further proffer that the licensees who are here tonight and Mr. Rose, who's unable to be here tonight, are fit and proper persons. And specifically, I'll note that Megan Rausch, who is added as a licensee after our initial application, is also a fit and proper person to hold a license. I mention that specifically only because our statement in support of this transfer did not mention Ms. Rouse, because at the time she was not listed as a licensee. Finally, I'd ask the chairman, I'd thank the chairman for excusing the absence of Mr. Rose. As the chairman noted, he was unable to access an internet phone, and so he submitted a DocuSign letter to the board, which provides certain information that I otherwise would have asked him in the form of oral testimony. So I'll ask the chair whether he would prefer or like me to read that letter into the record, or if the letter as it was sent, which I understand to have been distributed to the board, is already a part of the record.
We'll make that a part of the record. There's no need to read it for the official record, Mr. Dales. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd also say both of the other licensees, as well as the general counsel for Safe Harbor Marinas nationally, are here tonight, and the general manager of the licensed premises locally is here, and we'll be able to answer any of the questions the board may have if the board has any questions. I'd also proffer that collectively these licensees meet all code requirements and all board rule requirements for license transfers and licensees generally. As part of the application materials, we submitted the site plan for the licensed premises. And as a last comment, I'd note that we aren't proposing any changes to those plans either. So next, with the chair's permission, I'll call the licensee, Ms. Bell.
Sure, absolutely.
Ms. Bell, the board's already had your name and address read into the record. So we'll go straight to asking you to confirm that you are a member and officer of the entity and club seeking a license tonight, correct? Oh, Ms. Bell, I think we're frozen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the sound? Is a little bit gravelly.
Yeah, so there's an audio problem on our end too as it's being broadcast, and I think that it's okay, but if the chair would prefer, we could pause and ask Ms. Bell to call in by phone, or should we just muddle through it?
I can understand it. If anybody else would like, and I'm posing this question to the other board members, if we'd rather have Ms. Bell end her internet connection and call in, if that would make it easier. I think I can get through it. How many questions are you proposing to ask, Phil? Is it going to be a lot?
I have 4 or 5 questions for Ms. Bell. I think her testimony is relevant to the operations of the marina more than anybody else's.
Okay.
So
Let's try the first question. See how the audio works. If it's bad, we'll have her call back.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Bell, the first question that I don't think you heard was, please just confirm that you're a member and officer of the entity and club, respectively, seeking the license tonight.
I am.
Thank you. Okay. And can you explain your role at the entity that currently holds the license and your role at the entity who is the transferee of the license tonight, the receiving entity that will hold it going forward?
Yes, I was a black club license and also a liquor lottery yacht club. I was also the general manager, which Seven River Yacht Club falls under me. I have since in the acquisition been as general manager of Safe Harbor Annapolis, vice president of the Beverage LLC. As about 20 years, I've been with general manager since 2001 for the board for our renewal and music request. And so We have never licensed. We've always been respectful and have never had any violation here since 1988.
Thank you. I was able to understand most of that. Chairman,
It was okay to me if it was okay with everybody else.
all right, guys, we'll just get through this here. And so, Ms. Bell, could you tell the board about any training you received as a manager of the licensed premises and that you keep up as in an ongoing manner as you're going to be the manager?
Yeah. So training is I've always maintained the PAM certification. Was a requirement to get the crowd management training, which I also live on the premises. I have been a location since 1991, regularly in attendance of any club events, especially when there is a liquor event. So I'm of the property response and make sure that all of our staff, all of our guide, and are in compliance. See this here, and
Ms. Bell. And just for clarification, what I heard was Ms. Bell indicate that she has both PAM certification and alcohol awareness training certification. And though I haven't asked her yet, she, I think, indicated that her staff is also alcohol awareness trained. So, Ms. Bell, could you confirm for us that there won't be any changes to the operation of the licensed premises, at least as it relates to alcohol?
correct. There will be no change in the way we operate.
And my final question was related to the employees who may be involved with the service of alcohol. And I think, Ms. Bell, you already indicated they will have to get alcohol awareness training. Can you just confirm that again? I think that's what I heard. And if so, just add anything to it that you'd like.
No, just that we've always been and take this chance seriously.
Okay, and then just for clarification, that was a no to my request to add anything, not a no to them being certified for alcohol awareness training, right?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was speaking a little too quickly, I think. So that was a no in your answer to my question about whether you would add anything. But yes, the employees are alcohol awareness certified, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
Okay, that's it for Ms. Bell. Thank you very much for getting through that, Ms. Bell. I was challenging with the virtual meeting sometimes. So next, I would ask Ms. Roush, who's already stated her name and address for the record. Could you confirm, please, once you unmute yourself, whether you are a member and officer of the club seeking the license tonight? Can you try that again, Ms. Roush, please?
Yes,
Thank you very much. There we go. And you're also an employee at the licensed premises, correct?
that's correct.
And can you tell us about your role there?
I am a member services specialist and I work directly with the customers and the yacht club, planning events, socials, and things of that nature.
Thank you. And you did read your address, but can you confirm that you are a resident in Arundel County at that address and that you were a registered voter for the last 2 years?
That's correct. I am a resident of Anne Arundel County. I live at 269 Tolstoy Lane, Severna Park, 21146.
Thank you very much. And do you currently hold a liquor license anywhere else in Maryland?
I do not.
Have you previously held one?
I have not.
Okay, so that I think answers the next question, which is usually, have you ever had a violation with any of those licenses? But since Ms. Roush has not had one and does not hold one, she has not had any violations on her liquor license. So last question for Ms. Rouse. You do understand that as a holder of the liquor license and a licensee individually, you would be responsible for violations, whether or not you are yourself present during the day, every day for operations with a license, correct? But we lost your audio there, Ms. Roush.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, now I'll ask the questions for Safe Harbor General Counsel John Ray. Mr. Ray is already unmuted. Can you tell us about your position at Safe Harbor Marina, sir, and just give us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Safe Harbor Marinas is a marina owner and operator. I'm the general counsel. I've been with the company for a little over 3 years. Prior to that, I was an attorney in private practice, and I manage all of our legal risk across our portfolio.
Thank you very much. And so while Mr. Ray is not a licensee, he has knowledge of the applicant. Mr. Ray, could you tell us a little bit more about Safe Harbor Marina with your knowledge about that operation nationally?
Sure. We acquired the marina in late last year. Generally, what we do in the same vein as we did this one is we acquire the marina and keep all of the people in place because they've done such a good job, which is what led us to want to acquire the marina in the first place. And that's what we have done in this instance.
Thank you. And you're familiar with all the application materials we've submitted. And if you are, please answer the combo question here. If you are, can you verify the accuracy of the materials?
Yes, I can. They are true and correct.
Okay. And does Safe Harbor hold other licenses and associations with its holdings?
Yes.
Okay. And does it have a record of safe operation of the properties and the service of alcohol with those properties that have liquor licenses?
Yes, it does.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, thanks very much, Mr. Ray. I'm going to ask some questions now from Mr. John Swick. Mr. Swick, there we go. You are a member and an officer of the entity club seeking the license tonight. Is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. And roughly how many years of experience do you have in the marina industry?
I've been with Safe Harbor since its inception about 5 years ago, or a little over 5 years. And my total experience in the industry is a little over 20 years.
And many of those marinas have held liquor licenses as you've been a part of the business and the operations of the marinas, correct?
That's correct.
Thanks very much. And finally, you do understand also that as a holder of the liquor license, you would individually be responsible for violations, even if you yourself are not present for the day-to-day operations under the license, correct?
Yes, I do understand that. That's correct.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Swick. And that is the conclusion of our presentation. I'll rely on our application submitted with the statement in support and all of the various documents that were required to be included with the application, and let the rest of this hearing involve questions that any of the board members may have, if there are any questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dales. I appreciate it. Do any members of the board have any questions for Mr. Dales or any of the applicants or general counsel?
I have none.
I have none either.
No questions. All right. Well, with no questions, do I hear a motion for this request for a transfer of the Class C beer, wine, and liquor license on sale 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a week by Megan Roush, John Swick, Jeffrey Rose, who is not with us tonight, for the premises known as Beverage Annapolis LLC, trading as Safe Harbor Severn Yacht Club, located at 519 Chester Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland 21403.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
All right. Any additional comments or discussion by any members of the board? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry. There are a couple of things that I would like to bring to their attention,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay.
Not at all.
So I received a notice from the comptroller's office, who asked me not to release a license due to several issues. I don't know if you are aware of them. They said there is a Maryland sales and use issue, a Maryland withholding issue, and a Maryland admission and amusement tax issue. So as it states, until that is resolved, the comptroller has asked me not to release the license.
Ms. Gaines, if you could forward those materials to me, I'd appreciate it. And Mr. Chair, members of the board, we would ask that the motion just be amended to grant the license conditioned on the resolution of those issues brought forward by the comptroller.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's appropriate. We would, I would ask the record reflect that we would amend the motion that issuance of the license would be contingent upon successful satisfaction of those items that Ms. Gaines just brought.
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
might I submit that you voted on the motion, so now you need to have another motion to and approve that particular amendment, because you did hear a vote. So any issues, Cindy, before the vote's taken, we need to hear those before the vote.
Okay. So we will officially withdraw the previous motion. We will then.
No, excuse me. You can't withdraw. You already voted on it.
Okay.
All you're doing
I
is-
didn't. I didn't know that it already had gone through with the ayes.
Yeah, you already had a voice vote.
Okay.
So what you need now is just a motion to add the condition, and you'll be
All right.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the approval of this transfer request be contingent upon satisfaction of all those items that were just stated by Deputy City Clerk Cynthia Gaines.
Second.
All right. All those in favor of the amendment to the motion, say aye.
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 All right. There we go.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board, and Ms. Gaines, Mr. City Attorney. We'll look forward to seeing those documents from the comptroller.
Sure.
Thanks very much.
All for your participation. I appreciate it.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was the only matter that we had for the public hearing. So we'll declare the public hearing closed. The next item on the agenda deals with an extension of a previously approved cessation of normal operation. We have a third request for a cessation of normal operation granted to Golden Empire Corporation, trading as Manja, which is located at 81 Main Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Pursuant to Rule 2.7A of the City of Annapolis Rules and Regulation, the owner is respectfully requesting that the alcohol beverage license remain active while the restaurant remains closed for renovation, so long as the restaurant reopens by October 1st, 2021, subject to any further approval, subject to any further impact as a result of the pandemic. And for the board's knowledge and recollection, the initial approval for temporary cessation was granted on September 2nd with a reopening date of November 1st. The second request was granted November 1st with a proposed reopening date of April 1st, 2021. And I see Mr. Hyatt here tonight on behalf of Golden Empire. Mr. Hyatt, go right ahead and begin your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm back, and I'd like to give you another explanation. If you recall, the restaurant Mangia decided to close shortly after the commencement of the COVID emergency because business was just bad, and repairs were started by the owner. Unfortunately, the owner did not get proper permits, so that resulted in a stop work order. Well, that began a pretty difficult saga for the owner because you may be familiar with the property, 81 Main Street. It's an old building. And when repairs began, there was a need to bring everything back up to code. And so that's been quite an effort and an ordeal on behalf of the owner. It took until February to actually submit an application for a building permit because there was a requirement from the city to get the description of all of the equipment, and it's been just one headache after the other. So the application for the building permit is pending, and it looks like it's about ready to be issued. We have one tricky matter, I'll say, to resolve, and that is another problem bringing it up to code. There's a need for a new grease interceptor. And so in order to install a grease interceptor, the city does not allow grease interceptors to be installed on the interior of the premises any longer. It has to go outside, and that requires Miss Utility to get involved and figure out where the grease interceptor can go under the sidewalk. And so all that's going on right now. It's probably more information than you would like to know, but that's why we are where we are. And it's been an expensive process for this owner who's already invested a lot of money in the purchase of the business a number of years ago and in the purchase of the building. So what we're asking for is another extension to October 1st with every expectation that will be permitted and the work completed by then. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but that's the story in a nutshell.
All right, well, I'm sorry you're going through all of that and your clients are going through all that. It's not what we like to hear. I don't have any questions, but I'll open it up to any other members of the board.
Good night, everybody. Sorry for the line.
Any members of the board have any questions of Mr. Hyatt about this third request?
No, I mean, the situation is pretty clear.
Right.
So no questions.
No.
I make a motion that we extend the to October 1st.
All right, there's
I'll
a
second that.
motion has been properly moved and seconded to grant this request. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, your request is granted. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. And then next we have, with me, we have a 6-month extension request for Social Taco LLC, trading as Vita Taco and State House Inn. This is a request for a second 6-month extension to pick up previously approved alcoholic beverage license for Social Taco LLC, trading as Vita Taco and State House Inn, which is located at 200 Main Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Again, the extension application approval date was November 6, 2019, with a pickup date of April 1st, 2020. The first extension was granted October 1st, 2020 for a pickup date of April 1st, 2021, which brings us here today. And again, we have Mr. Hyatt. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Here is a similar situation, but here's somebody who knows the restaurant business, and he knows permitting, and he still needs a little more time. Mr. Fox is present here, as you can see, and his business, Social Taco, was approved for a special exception, and he's about 60% complete in terms of his renovations with mechanical, electrical, and plumbing done. He's awaiting inspection on drywall. It was a slow time getting his permits as well, just because of the times that are going on here. And I know he was shut down at least once because his contracting crew was diagnosed, or several of the members were diagnosed with COVID-19. So that shut them down. They had to remobilize. So, again, long story made short, Mr. Fox knows what he's doing. The project is moving right along. The request is for 6 months. His anticipated opening date is June because, for economic reasons, for sure, he wants to get open this summer, but we're asking for 6 months just to be safe.
Okay, and that would bring us to October 1, 2021 as a pickup.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's really it. Mr. Fox is here, and his co-licensee, Mr. Miller, are here if you have any questions for them, but I think I spelled it out pretty accurately.
I don't have any questions, but again, I'll open it up to members of the board to see if anybody has any questions of either the licensees or of Mr. Hyatt. Nope. All right, then I'll entertain a motion regarding this request for a second 6-month extension to pick up this previously issued alcoholic beverage license for Social Taco LLC, trading as State House Inn, Social Taco LLC, trading as Vita Taco and State House Inn, which is located at 200 Main Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
I motion to approve. I'll second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, your request is granted. Luck, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you
very much,
again.
guys.
Good luck.
Good
Appreciate
evening.
it.
Thank you.
All right, that is all we have on our main agenda, but we do have additional items to discuss in a closed session. So I would move that we reconvene in an executive session.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.